How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And hey, it's Thursday here on the show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. Well, we got a weekend coming up. We got SmackDown on Friday night, Barcelona, Spain. It's one of these international shows. So probably a wild crowd. We got some matches announced for that show. Last night was AEW Dynamite, which was the fallout from Revolution. And man, if you saw Revolution, that was one of the great wrestling shows of all time. And I was not blown away by the follow-up on Wednesday. I thought it was, at best, fine. They do have a direction. I mean, they're clearly moving in a direction. But as far as like the lineup of the show and a lot of stuff, I thought, man, that was just sort of there now, wasn't it? So we'll tell you about that show coming up here tonight. We've also got some notes on TNA rebranding. If you would like to be part of TNA Plus, they have dropped the price. They're trying to rebrand everything, and so you can get it at a discount starting, I guess, today, actually. We've also got notes on Queen of the Ring. It has compelled Nikki Bella to want to return to the ring. I think she might have been compelled prior to that. And also the Queen of the Ring actress who made that quip. I don't know if it's a quip, but she made a comment about how all these wrestlers know is going to win before they go out there. She has apologized to wrestling fans. So we'll tell you about that. An update on JD McDonough. Moose talks about a potential feud that he almost had with CM Punk. And plenty more. We got a lot to get into here today. If you want to text, it's 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. We did, in fact, by popular demand, watch Ready to Rumble.
The champion is some fat loser.
Yeah, he's a completely talentless, no athletic ability, can't wrestle, broke bum that walked out on his wife and kid.
But he was
he's
over.
the world champion.
He
and
was.
in the movie, the
Well, yeah, but
storyline
that's a
is-
microcosm of wrestling, sadly.
Yes.
He feels so bad about drinking this entire slushie that cost $1.26, and he sticks his finger in his asshole and walks up to the clerk.
Lance is dying. How could the movie be so bad?
I'm not going to fault the man for that, of all the things in the movie.
I thought for
okay?
sure you were going to say you'd done this before.
There's a reason I'm not going to fault the man for that.
I just think with all the porta potties and farting in this, that I think Vince McMahon was a secret producer on this film. Had to have been.
So then we get the Shermanator. He's playing a WCW arcade game. He uses some internet sleuthing to find the personal information of Jimmy King.
He's searching the internet. Can find out anything on here. This movie was so antiquated. Every Nitro Girl is in a Nitro Girl outfit, except for this girl. They had her
want
dance
her
in something
to
totally
stand out,
different.
Brian, like the captain.
So we're so stupid. I got it.
Captain
Yes,
Stabbing.
if you're watching this film, you're that stupid. I'm sorry.
But I was also insulted by the fact they hired Michael Buffer to announce the Royal Bash, the fake-ass Royal Bash.
$24 million budget.
Wow.
And probably $500,000 of that went to Michael Buffer. It made 12. You know, we should mention this cage match is the triple-decker Cage of Doom. Everybody buried it. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. And so they decided to make a movie. And what is the final battle? It's another goddamn triple-decker cage match. This would be like in 2010 if like TNA made a movie and the final match was a reverse battle royal.
They throw powder in someone's face, DDP's, I think, or somebody's, and the dude just looks at it and goes, "It doesn't work." It's like, of course, because wrestling's fake and stupid.
Should we just end it there? What a soundbite. There has never been a movie I have watched in my entire life which has made me hate myself more.
Wow.
I'm ashamed that I'm even in the place at 41 years old where I would end up reviewing this movie for money. I would have thought I would have made it out of here by now. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Well, everyone, hopefully we can do this again someday. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Back at the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. We got a lot to get into here today, including Dynamite last night.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that show?
It was about a quarter stick. It really wasn't that big of a boom.
No. Really wasn't. Yeah, I was thinking about this. So, I don't know, man.
Oh, boy. Go ahead. Just get it out. This is cathartic
Consider
radio.
the source.
Oh, boy.
No, Dave was talking on, I don't know what day it was, but there were like a lot of people did crazy stuff at the pay-per-views, you're well aware.
The Monday after, yes.
And there was like 2 segments announced for the show, and neither of them involved wrestling. And Dave said, well, you know, they had a whole card, but now they gotta make sure that everyone's available for Wednesday. And it's like they had a whole card, but now they got to make sure that everybody is available for Wednesday. And all I know is a couple of things. First off, I you know, once he said that, I started to hear from people, and they were like, nah, come on. There really wasn't a whole card. What are you talking about? Maybe there was. I don't want to doubt anybody, okay? But let's talk about this. If you had a whole card for Wednesday, and so many people were beat up after that pay-per-view, that you had to start over from scratch, well, maybe we need to start talking about what we're letting everybody do at these pay-per-views, right?
That would be one
Is that
of the
just
things,
me?
Yes, it might be, yeah.
That seems crazy. We had a whole card for a TV show Wednesday, but so many people were damaged to the pay-per-view that we had to start over again from scratch. Okay. All right.
And we'll forget about the fact that they have 796 people on the roster as well.
That's the other thing. Okay. So, all right, fine. You had, I went back and I looked how many people were on the pay-per-view. If you discard the pre-show, if we're just talking about the main show, well, there were 20 people on the pay-per-view. 20. Well, how many people do we have under contract? I don't know the exact number, but it's like hundreds. There's hundreds of people on pay-per-view. And so, like, I get, you wanted to give the Ops, like, a win. You wanted to give Shibata a win because he's in this tournament or whatever. And listen, we've had Vinny Pacifico on the show. I like the guy. But, like, the first match, after maybe the greatest pay-per-view you've ever run, was the Ops against Vinny Pacifico, Eli Theseus, and Gabriel Eros. Like, that was the first match on television. And then, I like that they had a bunch of pay-per-views and everything like that. But I just look up and down this show, and I mean, it just was like, this is your follow-up to that pay-per-view. And then, the other thing is, like, they announce that Moxley and Adam Copeland are going to have a rematch of the main event at that pay-per-view. They're having a rematch next week in a street fight. No disqualifications, no rules, on TV, free. Okay, that's a big freaking match. And, Copeland was on the show for like 30 seconds in a backstage promo. And then Moxley did like a 60-second promo. Maybe. That was it. Nothing in front of the crowd. They didn't have Copeland come out and he's furious. And then, Moxley comes out and he says, I'll give you that shot. You want no rules? I'll give you no rules. Like a big angle, something big.
Go off the air with a brawl?
Nothing. But we did have time for the greatest wrestler alive, Max Caster, to do his goofy open challenge and kill a bunch of time so that Takeshita, who's a heel, could come out and murder him and get over as a baby. I was just watching this show going, it's not like it was bad. I like that they're building up stuff for the future. I like that, a whole bunch of people want the world title. That's like important and everything like that. But this is your follow-up to Revolution. This is a follow-up. I was like, at best, this show was fine. At best.
They got on base, but that was it. It was a single.
Guess.
And, the big part of that single is the intrigue around MJF and MVP and the Hurt Syndicate. And they, again, small things sometimes matter. They explained why Lashley and Shelton Benjamin weren't there. MVP says, I have this. And then they have that, which is very intriguing for a lot of different reasons. But outside of that, we have another tournament. Okay, we're going to get some cool tournament matches, and then we're going to get a number one contender. That's what wrestling does now. Every promotion does this. It's an easy way to get to something, although it's probably done too much. And there was some other stuff, but yeah, it didn't feel like it had, with the momentum they seemed to have at the beginning of the week, it did kind of hit a wall there on Wednesday.
I wouldn't even really care that much, except it's something that we've talked about many, many times. And actually, I would say that the AEW television has been much better as a general rule over the last 2 months. But, there was a period where, the TV just wasn't lighting people's world on fire. But then they'd have a pay-per-view and it'd be awesome. And when the pay-per-view's over, like, everybody was talking about, my God, it feels hot. This is great. And then, TV would come and it's like, we got no lineup. And we're going to announce a couple matches the day of the show. And it's like, we're right back where we were again. And then that would continue on. And then we'd have a pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view would be awesome. And everybody's all excited. And then the following Wednesday, it's like, we got no lineup.
Yeah.
And then, here's a couple matches. It's like it's this ongoing thing of what's the follow-up to this awesome event that you had. And if the problem, if the problem is that people on the show are getting hurt and aren't available on the next show, okay, that's a problem that needs to be addressed, right?
Well, yeah, and you also need to have contingency plans. We always hear about these great plans that they have that they stick to through thick and thin to get to the outcome that they had planned at the beginning. But where are your contingency plans in case somebody gets hurt? Jay White didn't wrestle at the pay-per-view. If people were banged up, why didn't Jay White have a match, then do his promo where somebody comes to the ring and questions why he did what he did? Where's Roosh? Where's Buddy Matthews? Where are some people that fans may want to see, that you could have slipped in there? So why they didn't do that, I don't know. WWE had this problem several years ago, going back, 5-6 years ago, where the pay-per-views were great because the guys were able to go out there and do what they needed to do, but the storylines and the TV leading in were often very bad, and coming out of it ended up becoming very bad. And with AEW, I'm not saying that it's terrible television because, as you said, in the past few weeks it has gotten better. But if I'm not mistaken, Tony Khan, during one of the press scrums that he had, admitted that they have a problem living up to their pay-per-views. So he knows it's a problem, and it's been going on now. They've been in a downtrend here for, 5 years as far as the television goes and having coherence and consistency with it. So it's obvious a problem they know. It's just, if you know that, I don't even know how on paper things look like it was going to be optimal with what they did coming out of the pay-per-view unless they just really thought that the bookends were going to be that great. A great match at the end, Kenny Omega at the beginning, and then having MJF and the MVP thing in the middle. Just to me, even if you thought that was great, there wasn't enough around it.
Well, Gigato says they have a lot of guys on the roster. Only a fraction of those people draw ratings. When most of those guys get hurt, you get shows like this. No. First off, there aren't very many people at all that draw ratings. If you look at the quarters are what the quarters are based on what time the show, like when that quarter is during the show. But if you're talking about stars, I mean, I got the roster in front of me. And they had tons and tons of stars that I know, like stars, like people the audience actually sees, win some matches that just were not used. And I mean, there's dozens of them. Adam Cole is not hurt. I mean, Hangman worked on the show. We've got Anthony Bowens. Where's that guy been? I'm just going alphabetically here. Bandito. Where's Big Bill? Where's Lashley was given the day off. Where's Brody King? Where's I could keep going. You want me to keep going here? We got a commercial. I'll just go through the break, okay? Back in a moment, Observer Live. Well, I went through real quick. Hey, listen, if we're not talking about people that are fake injured, like Claudio and Pac and everybody, it's like we had Adam Cole, Bowens has vanished, where are the guns? Jay White didn't work on the show, he's not hurt. Okada and Brody, they definitely didn't get hurt. I watched that match. FTR, I can't even read my own writing here. Wick?
Nick Wayne.
Oh, yeah, Nick Wayne. Yeah, Nick Wayne. Christian's not hurt. Jack Perry's vanished. Jay Lethal and Dustin, their names. Takeshita. And he could have had someone better than just a squash match. Briscoe, Kyle. The Bucks have vanished. Rocky Romero. Roderick Strong, Sammy's vanished, Outrunners. I mean, all of those people.
What happened to JEFF?
Jeff Jarrett's disappeared off the face of the earth. And that's not even counting any of the women. I mean, whatever happened to Ty? We have Taya and Thunder.
Anna.
And Anna J. And Soraya dropped off the face of the earth. And Red Velvet's never used. She's on Ring of Honor.
Clearly, Athena has been banished to the ROH Honor
Athena,
Club
yeah,
universe
whatever
forever.
the hell. What happened to Athena? Queen Aminata and Nyla's never used. And anyone remember Mercedes Martinez under contract? And Layla Gray and Kira Hogan. I guess she's injured.
Did you say Nyla Rose? What does Nyla Rose only do publicity now, or like she should?
She
run
shows
their
up once a
Twitter?
year, so someone can beat a giant and then vanishes. I mean, don't tell me there's no talent available. Okay, there definitely is. There's plenty of it. Plenty of it.
Now, if you want to look for silver linings and things, Billy Starks and Nick Wayne may actually have, which, is fitting with their ages and how they came into the business and their backgrounds and shows they worked on together and all that sort of stuff. Seems like at the same time, those two are getting pushes that some people would believe could have happened years ago.
Well, I hope so, but is anybody expecting that Billy is going to beat Mercedes in a week?
No, but you can
No.
establish her as to being something on the roster and try to get some heat behind, just a new character. Because of all the women that you named, I mean, last night, Penelope Ford is interesting. You had Mercedes on there who obviously couldn't work, but she did her thing with Billy. And you have Willow and Chris. Unfortunately, Anna Jay, when she comes back, is going to be over, but she's disappeared. So there is a spot for somebody to come in because, unfortunately, as much as I like Serena Deeb, she's not over. I mean, there's a lot of women who aren't over, and frankly, Megan Bain, looks the part, and there's a lot good there, and I thought the pairing with Penelope may help her, but I don't know exactly what they're doing there either, and after last night, I mean, it seemed like her attack on Tony got no reaction. I know the sound is not great on those shows, but it seemed like she didn't get any reaction whatsoever, and I think I would have expected a little bit, and it never happened. And they put her out there twice to be a monster. So,
All right. TNA Plus, more affordable now. They've announced a 27% reduction of their annual plan Thursday. You can... Was that you?
apparently.
Or am I going crazy?
People trying to call in.
I see. So, annual plan, you can get the pay-per-view, streaming specials, archive footage, weekly TV, $159, which is down from $219.99. And that's a real deal because the CMLL, I think, is $159 a month.
It feels that way for the top tier.
Yeah.
You watch it. And the shows that they're going to add, we'll add this later, and then they never add the shows. This is the whole thing, everything that happens in Mexico, to me, feels like a rib against Cubs fan.
Then we've got $9.99 option, which will give you streaming specials, weekly TV, archive footage, but no pay-per-views. So if you want the pay-per-views, you got to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, well, $9.99 has been their stock price, and they probably shouldn't change that because I don't think you're going to get more people at $7.99 than you would at $9.99. But the idea, I do like the idea of we'll give you a 3-month deal. Because anybody that is maybe an NXT fan or a WWE fan or any wrestling fan that hears something, they get drawn in because they want to see Obafemi or Fraxium on the TNA show. It gives people a chance. TNA can at least get their money for 3 months for somebody who got hyped up and went, okay, yeah, I'll go $50 for 3 months.
So, speaking of $9.99, we got a bunch of $9.99 options, actually. If you want to hear the podcast, $84 a month. We've got YouTube, $9.99 a month. You get video, beautiful HD video, f4wonline.com/YouTube. Or if you use Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can get all of the podcasts for $9.99, f4wonline.com/Apple, f4wonline.com/Spotify. So choose whatever works for you. Hours of entertainment, literally hours, days. Let's see, 84 shows. I'd say they average about an hour each. That's 84. Yeah, that's 3.5 days if you're listening 24 hours a day, every month. Can you imagine?
When's the anniversary date of this website? The
My
proper
birthday,
date.
June 12th.
So, somebody by that time ought to count up how many hours are in the archive to see if somebody can actually
We've already done this. 15,000.
No, but as far as how many years is that? How many months?
Since 2005. So 20 years times 12 months. Do I have to get my calculator, Dave? That's 240 months. Okay?
How many minutes of audio are there for people? Can you go the rest of your life on an iron lung and just fall asleep and listen to every show that's ever been recorded for like, I need to know
like I
for
said,
like 4
there's
solid years.
15,000 divided by 24 hours. That's 625 hours. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's 625 hours. And then, right? Did I do that right? Hold on. 15,000 divided by 24 hours in a day. That's 625 days. Yeah, you could do that. Easy. Everyone's got
I can't believe there's only 625. That's only 2 years.
That's 24 hours a day, though. You got to listen to this show 24 hours a day?
Somebody
Golly.
should.
No, I can't even listen to myself 24 hours a day.
You talk 24 hours a day. You do
no, I don't.
75
I
shows
spend a lot of time in silence.
Oh, when you're...
Actor Damaris Lewis got a taste of the wrestling business in a role as Babs Wingo, the new Queen of the Ring film. Who in the world is Babs Wingo?
Are you kidding me?
No. I've heard of a lot of women's wrestlers, but not Babs.
One of the 3 sisters that... Never mind.
I didn't see the movie.
Never mind. I know, but it's wrestling history. Can we get Carl
Well,
Stern
I know
on
Nell
here, for heaven's
Stewart.
sakes?
Crying out loud.
Know all the white ladies, huh?
I can tell you, I can tell you.
The Moolah.
Oh, God, everyone knows Moolah. But anyway, so she says, her comment, one thing I learned about pro wrestlers, y'all know you're going to win before anybody else does, so thank you for teaching me that. Live on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
She apologized on Busted Open. She said that...
part of the redemption tour that for the movie.
It's a sport. It's real. People are in there, in that ring, doing what they got to do.
Now overcompensating now.
Tough and dangerous at times. I respect it fully with my whole heart. I will say it again. I am so sorry it came out that way. But like you said, you have to know the house you're in. I know these fans love their sport. They're defending their sport, so I can't be mad.
How many times does she say sport now?
Listen, I'm not mad. I thought it was silly. Didn't really bother me or anything like that. But I will say, you didn't think maybe that was a wrong thing to say in a building full of wrestling fans during a wrestling show? That never occurred to you for 2 seconds?
Actually, to her, it may not have, but that's why you kind of run through and you go, well, how about we say it like this or put it in these terms? I don't know.
Was there nothing in Queen of the Ring about back in the day protecting the business? Nothing?
I think there were some people there on set who played roles that, would like to still do that.
Nikki Bella watched the movie. Now she wants to come back. Pretty sure. She said she'd watched it on the life of Mildred Burke. I've heard of old Mildred.
Oh,
Seeing how she overcame, especially with the last match they showed in the movie, it just made me feel so many things of her age, being a mom, the mental ability. I was like, I can do this. And you can do it with anyone. It's mind over matter, she said. Now she wants to come back. You actually can't do pro wrestling with anyone. It depends. Sometimes it just ain't happening,
A broomstick would be better than a human being.
So in some cases, it would be. In some cases, I would have preferred having a broom in the ring than whoever my opponent was at the time. Or partner. JD McDonough on the road to recovery after suffering a punctured lung and broken ribs. He said to Chris Van Vliet that he hasn't competed since the 27th. He talked about hitting the announce table neck first. Blamed the injury on the planning as he hit the move on a different side of the ring than was originally intended. He said he had done the move on the announce table side before, but thinks he was maybe a foot too far forward or a foot too far back and wiped out. And then he was thinking, when is the next breath going to come? He thought the injury was cracked ribs. He said adrenaline kicked in. He was just winded. Thought of stopping never entered my mind. Said the referee took a lot of heat online, but it wasn't his fault. As McDonough said, he was good to go. He was back in the gym doing low-impact cardio and Pilates with his full lung capacity back. His ribs are good, but he's waiting for the bones to, quote, knit back together as he punctured his lung with his 7th rib. So he did break his rib and then punctured his lung as a result. So, yeah, I don't care if the wrestlers say they're all right. Everyone who saw that knew the guy wasn't all right. It was obvious it was a bad landing. And then it's not just that, but when he got back in the ring to work, it was obvious he could barely do anything. So, yeah, somebody should have called the match off. It's obvious. But anyway, back in a moment with more, everybody. We got a lot to talk about in terms of AEW Dynamite and all that good stuff. Wrestling Observer Live. Back here in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Should also note that Moose did a interview where he said, while I was world champion of TNA, there were plans of CM Punk coming to TNA and us feuding.
Excuse me?
That's what he says. Obviously, it never happened, but who knows? Shout out to CM Punk, he says. Yeah.
When?
That's what he said.
Moose has been there forever and a day. When? Okay. All right.
He held the title from October 2021 through April 2022 and January 2024 through July 2024. So this would have been during the WWE TNA working agreement. Also got Roadblock. Not a great number, actually. 732,000 and a .15, which is a very low demo. And, fact is, like, they didn't have main roster people on the show, and that's usually what bumps up that rating more than anything. Even if it's a big, big show, which this was. It ended up being a great show. But, going in, obviously, WWE versus TNA means less than, hey, Becky Lynch is going to be on the show this week. So, there you go. We'll see how Dynamite does when the numbers come out, I guess, later on today.
Yeah, I guess everybody's got to deal with the NCAA basketball tournament coming up. The only time a lot of people even care about college basketball would be this time. So you're going to have that all over the place as well here in the next couple of weeks in the States.
All righty. We had Kenny coming out for an interview to open up Dynamite, and he did a promo. Can't even believe he's back, much less a champion. He's going to keep an eye on this Dynasty Eliminator tournament, and he'll be facing the winner at Dynasty, which is like less than a month away. So, as noted, the participants, Orange Cassidy, Hechicero, Mortos, a mystery person, Shibata, Ricochet, Mark Briscoe, and Mark Davis. Can you believe yesterday on the show everybody thought Mark Davis was going to win? We can't really still be thinking that, can we?
No, who said that?
It was yesterday, people. I think even you said it.
I wasn't here yesterday, and whoever it was lied, and I would have called them lying liars for actually thinking Mark Davis was going to win this thing. Are you kidding me?
Can somebody do me a favor and dress Mark Davis?
I wish it was Mark Briscoe, but good.
This guy came out on this show. I swear to God he was in his pajamas. Just like, what's going on here?
Satchel ass.
Ops beat Vinny Pacifico, Eli Theseus, and Gabriel Eros quickly.
It's a hell of a combo.
Gotta win for old Shibata because he's in the tournament. Gotta get a win. Then we had Ricochet doing a promo, and he's in the tournament, and he vowed to beat Shibata on Collision. So the first two matches were here. Lance was the one who actually he said it yesterday because of the tie-in with Don Callis. I thought it was possible till I saw the outfit he came out in. That guy ain't going over in this tournament. He's just not. So Ricochet did a promo, and he'll face Shibata on Collision. He offered Shibata the chance to forfeit. So what I was saying was they had 2 matches tonight, 2 matches on Collision, and it's a 4-way next week. So we're getting through this thing quick. This tournament, Lance. Swerve did a promo after the pay-per-view on Sunday. This is when Adam Copeland just walked up, and he said, I didn't lose. There's a chance by the time Dynasty rolls around I might be champion. And if it doesn't happen before then, if you win the title, I'll be next. And Swerve fist bumped him. And then they immediately go to a Moxley-taped promo where the gist of it is, you whine about what happened at the show, but you were the guy that was the ultimate opportunist. It's all I did. But you know what? If you want to complain about the rules, if you want to complain about all that, fine. I'll take the rules away. You and me next week. And they put a graphic on the screen that said, next week, Mox versus Copeland in a street fight. And we never had any further build after that. That was not good. That's it. That was the build to this match next week. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my God.
How long did that Moxley promo go for?
I thought it went for like 50 seconds, but Dave was acting like it was an hour long.
It felt like it was an hour long. He is better served. He and Jay White both, and myself for that matter, cut it down a little bit.
I thought it was, dude, if you go back, it wasn't that long. At most, it was 90 seconds.
But that's still the problem.
At most.
Then maybe they should be 45. It just, I don't know when he gets that verbose and he starts going off and telling his story if it is, again, we still don't really have a mission statement other than I wanted to save it, so I got to kill it. And again, this is why this thing has been such a problem.
And we had Dralistico and Brian Cage versus Hobbs and Hologram. This guy's going, your clothes look awful. No push for you. Are you trying to tell me that I'm wrong about what I said about Mark Davis's outfit?
Are you talking about me?
Dude,
come on.
I was just at Costco, okay? They got like pajamas there for like $12, okay? Full pajamas. That's what he was in, okay? This is like when Seth comes out in that outfit. I can't take them seriously. Seth comes out dressed like an oven mitt, and then he's trying to be all serious, like he's a badass. And meanwhile, there's, like, Drew McIntyre's there looking all mean, and I'm like, oh. And then, Mark Davis came out, and, the fans dressed better than Mark Davis here on this show. So, yeah, it's like a thing, okay?
Somebody get Mark Davis.
I'm not paying to see a guy that got his outfit at Costco in the pajama section. I'm sorry.
Gotta get a slick sweatshirt. That's what you need. BRP.
Yeah. And yes, Sticker Reds 202, you do need to shop at Costco.
Why?
And yes, they do have the hot dog for $1.25, and you get a free drink.
Do you have a massive freezer? Like a
Two
deep
of them.
freezer? Okay. That explains it.
Thank you. It's not what you make, it's what you save.
And then buy
No one ever got rich spending money. You need more? I got tons of them. Anyway, Dralistico and Brian Cage versus Hobbs and Hologram.
We'll get to Buddy Wayne on that stuff.
So this was a pretty good match, except when old Hobbs and Dralistico were together.
Oh, my God.
I thought Hobbs was going to kill this guy.
Shove him in a locker afterwards.
Oh, man. But Hobbs hit him with what they claimed was a spine buster. It looked like Hobbs got hit with a flatliner, but then he pinned the guy. They said it was a spine buster. And this is when Mark Davis came out in his jammies. Then we had a Hurt Syndicate promo where MVP told, because they'd had such a grueling match with the Outrunners, that they didn't need to work the show, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, so they went home.
No, they went to the gym, maybe.
Well, they're going to do a lot of things, including going to the gym. Then we had Tony coming out for a promo, and the whole thing with Mariah is done. She's moving on, and she gets jumped by Megan Bain, who desperately needs one of two things. She needs to cut a promo.
A good one.
Or she needs to be hooked up with the Don Callis family and he cuts a promo. Because, there was a thing on the board about how, she's Camille. And then, there were people that were like, well, I've seen her outside of AEW and she's better than Camille. Okay, that's fine, okay? But most people haven't. And so what we see is Camille. She never talks. She hits like a move, and then she poses. And she poses, and she poses, and she poses. We're going from whatever you think about Mariah May and Tony was a very, very exciting promo because it was two people with very big personalities. This is not Megan Bain. She's just hitting people and posing. And we need a lot more than that here in 2025.
Hey, she's got a lot of gear to make up for that lack of personality there, I guess. But if you want a quick fix to this, put her with the Hurt Syndicate. Because P can do the talking, she can go out there as a killer, and it might help. Again, I thought the Penelope thing could, but apparently not.
Well, she's supposed to be a heel, so no, don't put her with the Hurt Syndicate.
Well,
that's
the
whole top baby faces right now.
That's a whole other question with them.
Tony, then we had Beast Mortos and the debuting Speedball Mike Bailey. This was a highlight. This match was really fun. Great debut for Mike Bailey. He got the win with his kick, and then he's on his way to the 4-way next week. So, excellent debut. Liked it. Then we had the best thing on the show, which was Nick Wayne standing up to Christian as Christian had one excuse after another. Christian ends up getting in his face. They go back and forth. Everybody in this segment was awesome. But I will say, when it was over, all I could think was, well, it's a swerve. Nick's going to help Christian win something and be right back where he was, never wrestling and standing in the background. I'm sorry I don't have faith, but I'd be happy if they proved me wrong. Quite happy.
Waffle House.
We had MJF coming out for a promo. He's interrupted by MVP. And long story short, MVP gives him his card. At first, MJF says, I don't need your card. I don't know if you remember, but I was the world champion for 406 days. And MVP said, well, the key word is was. And he gives MJF the card and leaves. Everyone keeps bringing up Mama Wayne at the Waffle House. She didn't work at a Waffle House. How do I know this? because I know where she lives, and there ain't no Waffle Houses nearby. I live in Washington. Like, we don't have Waffle Houses here, okay?
Carl's Jr.?
No. Nothing like that around here. And that's not a... Since when is Carl's Jr. a Waffle House? He didn't say Carl's Jr., he said a Waffle House.
They're working the third shift.
He could have said pig and pancake. Actually, we don't even have that around here.
No steak and shit?
IHOP. If he would have said IHOP, all right, fine.
You got Denny's?
But he didn't. He said a Waffle House. We have very few Denny's nowadays. Very
Dying
few.
off.
Max Caster did his best Wrestler Alive gimmick.
Now he gets beat up by heels.
Total heel. And, she was a model. She was a model back in the day.
This is now, never mind.
Yeah,
New
she made a
people
lot of
all
money,
the time,
by the
I
way,
guess.
modeling.
Yeah.
A lot of money. So anyway, Max Caster comes out, and Takeshita... I know, you're probably stunned to hear that Mama Wayne was a model. Breaking news here on this show. Do you guys know that? Do you know that 6'5" blonde? Anyway, yeah. Max Caster, he jibber-jabbered, and then Takeshita, a heel, came out and killed him and became a babyface, and then and that was that. Okay.
Working
Jericho,
a long game.
promo with Gravity's mask.
This is good.
It was a good promo, and he crushed that mask. And then we had Willow and Penelope Ford, which was not very good. It was a bad day for Penelope. And then she tried to hit Willow with a chair afterwards, and it was even worse. And then you'll never guess what happened. Megan Bain came out and laid him out and posed. Boy, did she ever pose. Mercedes did a promo, and she was challenged by young Billy Starks. They will have a match next week for the AEW TBS title. And then we had a Will Ospreay promo where...
He's good
Dude,
promo.
this main event with Orange Cassidy and Hechicero, we got like 5 minutes of television time. I'm not sure if it's because Will Ospreay spent 30 minutes telling about how he made his wife mad by jumping off that cage, but that had to be part of it. And then he declared for the Owen.
If anybody can get away with those types of promos, it really is Will Ospreay.
He can, but he went on for an hour.
I know.
And then I got 5 minutes of Orange Cassidy with his hands in his pockets doing wacky lucha cradles on Hechicero, which I got to watch for 3 hours. Jay White did a promo. He wants the title. We had a Hangman MJF stare down. This feud is not over yet.
There's going to be fire.
And then, yes, Orange Cassidy beat Hechicero to go on to the four-way. And it was what I saw was fun, but I didn't see much. But it was good. Show was fine. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Well, that sucked. Like right before we came back at a power surge and we lost everything.
Was that you or us? Well, me.
That was definitely
Xfinity,
me.
Honestly.
Yeah, it was definitely me. That was weird. No, that was a
Keep that
power
weather over
surge,
there
everybody.
blowing.
Sorry about that. You know, I think we had that power surge.
Why is that?
I have an echo too on top of everything else.
Oh God, blow your ears out.
I was on Twitter and Boogs 10 minutes ago posted a video of him working out. I think
Boogs?
I think that knocked all the. I mean, it just knocked out everything in this house. It is. You ever seen like those old timey strong men, and they're like doing this all weird stuff with like kettlebells and long barbells that are like 9 feet long with those little round things at the end? Those people would be looking at Boogs going, "What are you doing, dude? Like, what is he doing?" He's got like, he's on the bench. The first one, he's on the bench press, and he's got the big heavy bar he's about to bench. But then he does a sit up and does a military press. Like, what? What? And now there's another one. He's got like the thing on his back, like the squat rack, except he's hugging a ball, but he's doing like dead. What is he doing?
Honestly,
Like, I know he's strong and all, but like,
some of the things some of these dudes do who aren't playing like professional football and things where they're going to get hit all over. It's like your joints and some of your body parts are going to hate you a lot.
oh, it's going to be
later
rough,
on.
dude. Ask Taz.
Oh my God.
Ask Taz. And the funniest part is that bench press thing where he does a sit up into a military. He's wearing a fanny pack. He's got a counterweight in it or something. I got to get out of here. All right, I'll be back later on tonight. Bryan and Vinny Show, AW, NXT, and more. Thanks, Mike, as always, callers and listeners, everybody in the studio. I'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Live.